So recently, Chromebooks ads have gotten to the point where they are so ridiculously misleading, I feel obligated to make a video on it. And last night I was watching YouTube videos on my phone, and I got an ad that literally blew my mind because it was so freaking misleading. So in today's video, we're going to review that ad. I found it. And then we're also going to review a couple other Chromebook ads that are also very misleading. And by the end of this video, you will be educated on the questionable business practices of Chromebook. So it'd be very hard for me to go say all this stuff and check the factuality without getting my hands on a Chromebook. So you better bet for this channel we got ourselves one. And so we've got ourselves a Chromebook. We're going to start reviewing each of these ads, take a line out of PewDiePie's playbook, and we're going to do an ad review and talk about how these ads are horrendously, factually misleading. So here it is. Here's the ad that made this entire video come into existence. So first up, we start with a woman who looks like a security guard who's obviously playing games on a laptop, and they're doing it instead of working, which, I mean, we can argue the merits of that. Anyway, let's just take a moment to watch this first part of this ad.
Oh no, did your game just get interrupted by an update?
An update? Oh my gosh. So first off, can we talk about something? Windows has really bad updates. We know that. We know Windows just randomly updates sometimes. Okay, that's a valid point. What the problem with Chromebooks though is, especially, you'll see in a second, you can't really play games on this at all. I find that interesting that there's not much game support. Now obviously you have like the Android App Store and stuff, but that's not really playing the same games.
It's switching time.
So how misleading is it that they go through and they say, hey, if you switch to our Chromebook, you can play your games without interruptions, but you can't actually play any of the games you want to play. And the worst part of all this is that somebody will see this and go, oh, Chromebooks just sound so much better, but they're not.
So a Chromebook that updates automatically.
A Chromebook that updates automatically. What is that supposed to mean? Windows updates automatically? I mean, we definitely can argue the merits of Windows updating on its own. Now, a little other thing about Chromebooks I'm not sure you're aware is that 5 years after you make a purchase of a Chromebook, you actually lose all software support. So you don't receive any more updates 5 years after your purchase, regardless of what happens. So, at least with a Windows computer, you can receive updates as long as Windows runs on the computer. So, I mean, yeah, you updates automatically up until 5 years after your purchase, and then you have a rough time because you really don't have any updates or virus patches, etc. I feel bad for this actor or this woman that's doing this because she acts so surprised. She's like, I know this whole thing of like, oh my gosh, my game is all on here now. I don't have to get interrupted. I wasn't in the middle of a game. I have been using a Windows computer for the last 3 or 4 years. That rarely happens where you get interrupted in the middle of a game because it shuts down for a mandatory update. Rarely. I don't think it's happened to me once. So this being the whole point of the ad is that you don't want to get interrupted in your games. Can't argue the merits there.
Switch to updates without interruption. Switch to Chromebook.
If you take a look at this ad, and we're in 11 seconds in, it says screen images simulated in fine print in the bottom for about a few seconds. Yeah, the screen images are simulated because there's no way in heck you're going to play a game on this at all. As you can clearly tell, this first ad was pretty dang misleading. It told us that Windows updates is a huge problem and that you definitely want to switch to a Chromebook so you can play your games uninterrupted. That would work only if you could actually play the games, but since Chromebook doesn't support any games, any PC games that I'm aware of, it's not really likely to happen. Now, another thing I also want to point out is the hardware that's usually contained in Chromebooks also is very preventative for allowing you to actually play games. For example, the Chromebook I have here is actually, I believe, an education model SKU. But still, I believe that with most of these Chromebooks, they're usually looking at an Intel Atom processor to maybe a low-end, low-power CPU like a Duo or maybe an i3 or something. You're not going to ever get anything, especially because it usually runs on ARM. So let's take a look at some of these laptops that they've actually said. So the Galaxy Chromebook. So you've actually got an i5 in here. Okay, so if we take a look at the Galaxy Chromebook, you've got a 10th gen Intel Core i5, which you're looking at 4 cores, 8 threads, which is actually surprisingly pretty decent for $1,000, especially for a Chromebook. Oh my gosh. What's the GPU? I'm assuming it's an integrated GPU, and then it has a 4K touchscreen, but no GPU other than the integrated one. Yeah, you're not gonna be able to play games on that. I'm sorry. If you're gonna have the whole point, and especially if we're taking the highest end tier that they're showing in the ad, that's also wouldn't even play Windows. If you were on Windows, it wouldn't even play your games. It's super misleading. So let's take a look at the next one. Let's talk about the viruses. Viruses on Chromebook. So here's a little bit of philosophy. My uncle recently built his first computer. And he asked me, he's like, virus protection, what do I need for Windows? So Windows and actually anything in the world pretty much goes the same way. If you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it. If you're stupid and you don't have common sense, you're going to run into problems. You're going to get viruses no matter if you're on Windows, Chromebook, Linux. That's what I tell everybody. You can get viruses on Linux. Linux is actually easier in the fundamental kernel way to go through and get viruses. It's easy to install them. Now, the reason why we say that Linux is less likely to get viruses is because less people want to spend the time on a operating system that not many people use. Same thing goes for Chrome OS. They pretty much don't want, what's the point in writing some type of malware script for a Chromebook? Who's going to be on there that's going to, in the factual sense, what are you going to get out of hacking someone's Chromebook? And same thing with Linux too, like the people that use Linux are not stupid, so there's no point in writing that. Now, the people that use Windows, on the other hand, well, we can argue about that. So that's why a majority of the viruses are for Windows. And so for this next ad, we're talking about built-in virus protection, which I bet money there is no built-in virus protection. It's just, hey, we don't have many viruses on the built for Chrome OS. So that's the Chromebook channel, official channel, with more subscribers than me. Makes me want to die.
Slow laptop? How about one that boots up fast? It's switching time. How's that for fast?
Gosh. That's what I don't understand. So first off, this is in a school environment. So we're taking a look at a school. I'm a student, by the way. I'm currently attending university, electrical engineering, all that stuff. And I find it very interesting that this is targeted towards a school where, if we take a look at this education product for kind of the same laptop, it's targeted towards students, and yet students need, especially for any engineering classes, you're not going to be able to install all the necessary modeling software, CAD software, programming software, all that stuff. You're not going to be able to get that on a Chromebook. But it boots as fast as 6 seconds. Well, actually, let's see if we can turn this off real quick and turn this back on. So it says boot as fast as 6 seconds. So that's like best case scenario. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, okay. 12 seconds, guys. I bet a Windows laptop can do just fine. Not worried there. So we just also disproved that your Chromebook is not going to boot up in 6 seconds. Even if this is an older laptop, this is only 2 years old, I still think that this video is almost a year old. So it took 12 seconds. BS. Built-in virus protection. Let's watch this, guys.
Did you forget to pay for virus protection for like the 30th week in a row? It's switching time.
Virus protection? Here's a little life tip, guys. If you're not being stupid and doing going in places you probably shouldn't, then you really don't need protection, guys. That's kind of the way that Windows works. I wonder where this professor has been going, that he needed protection, but he didn't have it. So let's just talk about how viruses don't work this way, by the way. You don't have infinite pop-up I mean, some do, but you don't. Most of them are not going to be pop-up windows. They're going to be scrapers, malware, data busters, all that crap that just sends it, offloads it, and takes all your passwords and sends it to some weird guy on the internet. This is just... that already.
It's switching time. Now that's how you make an entrance. Switch to built-in virus protection. Switch to Chromebook.
Okay, as I said, the only reason viruses do not exist or are built-in virus protection, what they mean by this is that there are not really any viruses that anyone's going to make, because who wants to make a virus for a Chromebook? What are the kind of people that use Chromebooks? Poorly educated computer buyers. That is the kind of people that buy Chromebooks. I mean, definitely there are some great circumstances in education. They're good for little kids, all that stuff. We can argue the whole good side of stuff. But for the market that they're targeting, which is professors, poorly educated computer buyers are... And do you really think that poorly educated computer buyers are going to put anything valuable on their computer? No, probably not. Okay, let's take a look at our next ad. So, I'm not even going to look at this ad. Just take a quick second to talk about how you can watch Netflix videos offline with a Chromebook. I don't even know why that's a selling point. Any laptop can do that, so we're just not even going to talk about it. And up to 12 hours of battery. I just don't understand the selling point of this stuff. The reason why there's 12 hours of battery either is because they have a gigantic battery, which they probably aren't going to do, or the processor is so tremendously underpowered that it literally doesn't use any power. So let's just take a moment to talk about this laptop I have here, or this Chromebook. This was actually a gift for my mother, and she ended up using this for about 3 or so weeks. And then time, she tried putting like 12 pictures on a Google Sheets or Google Docs, and she couldn't do it because the laptop was lagging so bad because it couldn't even put 12 pictures on a Google Doc. So really my question to ask is, the battery on here lasts for 12 hours. Yeah. But it's so tremendously underpowered that it's completely pointless. So the moral of the story is, this last ad, which I do also want to point out that they don't even include on their official page because they know how controversial it is just deteriorating. And I actually had to spend a good 30 minutes trying to track down or get YouTube to recommend me this ad so I can make a video on it. So I just want to point out the fact that in this video, we kind of went over all these different fallacies and factual issues. And I really just want to point out that, guys, if you're going to buy something, a Chromebook, for example, there are definitely good ways to do it for young kids, for, people that education products, someone that doesn't need all the features. But all of the reasons that they mentioned in their ads to buy a Chromebook are not reasons that you should. You should not buy it for virus protection. That's stupid. If you give a kid, heck, you can get viruses on iPhones. Like, that's the thing I remember growing up a little bit, was that when iPhones came out, everyone just assumed that you couldn't get viruses on them. And lo and behold, we find out that there's been viruses all along. And I think it's just stupid to assume anything isn't going to have, it's stupid to assume that things aren't going to have problems just because the company that's making it and that's trying to sell it to you is saying that. There are viruses, I'm sure, for Chromebooks. I'm sure. Another thing also is Chromebooks you can pretty much wipe them and steal them without an issue. For example, we had a problem where I got locked out of this one, or my mom actually got locked out of this one. And I actually was trying to figure out how to wipe it. You plug in a USB drive and you wipe the whole thing and you have a brand new Chromebook. You just plug in a USB drive. You install the software and you have a brand new Chromebook. Like we don't talk about the fact that this is, even Windows, if you have BitLocker or something on there, and you have a BIOS level security password, you can't really do much. I mean, yeah, you can get really in there with the wires and stuff, and you can jump boards and CMOS connectors and all that stuff. With Chromebooks, there is no protection. Anyone can take your Chromebook, plug in a USB drive, and have a new Chromebook or sell it. And especially for a $1,000 Chromebook with an i5, an integrated processor, just to browse Chrome, guys. Just to browse Chrome. So that concludes our review of this lovely assortment of Chrome ads. I hope you had a wonderful day. And as always, give the video a like if you enjoyed, and let me know your comments on these Chrome ads assortments down below. Have a great day, and I hope to see you around soon. Goodbye.